Hello, friend, and welcome to Borgcast Original Series 1.11. Yes, it's back. Thanks to the ineptitude of CBS. We have now discovered that we can watch Discovery Season 4 on, what's it called? Pluto, wrong planet, yeah. Which is a thing where it's not streaming. You have to watch it when it shows it, apparently. Which is pretty primitive, isn't it, these days?
Well, apparently it's showing the same thing Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it's just too complicated. We don't know how long it's going to be up for. So,
yeah.
Bottom line is, covering Discovery as and when it's on a shiny disc. That's the way to do it, I think.
Or something that is not limited to Sky.
Yes.
What worries me is that they're going to initially be showing it on whatever it is.
I think it's only for a limited time on...
And then when it goes... But they won't finish the season.
Uranus. Well, yes, I don't know whether... Normally it finishes about Christmas, and I think that's when it's supposed to be up for. So.
Well... Yeah, but they have a mid-season hiatus-y thing, don't they? And I'm thinking it will do the mid-season hiatus, and then unless you've got Sky, you can't see the second half, which is even more.
That would be even more cruel, wouldn't it?
That's what I think it is, though. I don't trust them anymore. I think they're cruel cunts, and I'm waiting until I can watch the lot. Really.
Anyway, let's move swiftly on from the bitterness and recrimination.
Yes, sorry.
And on to the 1960s.
Yeah.
And the Conscience of a King.
Yeah.
So the title comes from Hamlet,
which
this story apparently parallels. I've never read Hamlet, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, I have, but it's been a while.
It's written by Barry... Not Hamlet, obviously. But, I mean, even I know
Hamlet is written by Barry.
Yes, Barry Shakespeare.
He runs a cab company.
Barry Shakespeare's cabs. Yeah, that works. No, this episode was written by Barry Trivers. It's his only episode, apparently. And directed by Gerd Oswald. Gerd, that's not a name we have on these shores.
No.
First of two. He also directed 14 episodes of The Outer Limits and 16 episodes of Gentle Ben.
I mean, that Gentle Ben, wasn't it just Lassie with a bear?
Yeah, there was loads of shows like that, weren't there? Wasn't that the sort of the way Littlest Hobo worked as well?
I always preferred Littlest Hobo to Lassie.
Yeah, better theme tune, wasn't it?
True. Anyway, sorry. We've gone off on a little bit of
They didn't do a monkey one. They should have done a monkey one, shouldn't they? Littlest Bobo or something.
Captain's log, stardate 2817.2. Suspicion that a famous actor is in reality Kodos, the mass executioner, places the Enterprise and her crew in grave danger.
Riley, get back to the sickbay.
Kodos is dead.
I'm satisfied with that.
Well, I'm not. That voice, a bloody thing he did.
Raleigh's gone. I was recording my log about Caridian and Kodos. If he overheard...
You've made your point, Doctor.
You were very impressive as Lady Macbeth.
And is Lenore Caridian?
Very impressive.
Almost certainly an attempt will be made to kill you. Why do you invite death?
There's a phaser on overload in my quarters. If it blows, it'll take out the entire deck.
So you're watching a play, someone's stabbed, but it's Macbeth.
Oh, they've got bad wind, it's hard to tell.
And then someone in the audience says, I know that man, it's Kodos the executioner. And Kodos just made me think of...
Simpsons, by any chance?
Yes!
Yes, well, that's where the name came from.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I'm like, why am I thinking of an alien with a big head in a jar?
Yes.
Oh, that's where it comes from.
It is, yes.
Right.
Okay, so the person you're talking about there is Dr. Thomas Layton, who's played by William Sargent, who was in Mission Impossible and the Twiglet Zone, and wearing the most 60s shirt imaginable. And Corridan stroke Kodos, ooh, spoilers, is played by Arnold Moss, which is a great name. Arnold Moss. He sounds like the sort of person you bump into a pub in the 1960s.
Arnold Moss.
Yeah. My name's Arnold Moss. He was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. as different characters. And he was an actual Shakespearean actor.
Well, so was William Shatner. Doesn't make him good.
Yeah, exactly.
Although he's better than Shatner.
Not hard.
No. So you have the captain's log, and it's all about we're going to this planet because to confirm the discovery of a synthetic form of food.
Yeah, all that just doesn't. That sounds like the setup for the episode, but it really isn't.
No, and it turns out that Tom, who turns out to be a sort of Phantom of the Opera man.
Yes, he dramatically turns to face the camera and reveals that he is cosplay Travis. No,
Yeah.
Primos!
It is a bit though, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, later on when he gets to cosplay Travis rather than the real Travis in Blake 7, and the mask is because it starts out as an eye patch, and then by the time you got the later one, it's like half his face and rubbish.
Yeah. But this one is sort of made of silk and just made me think of the Phantom of the Opera is
Yeah,
here.
it was a bit, wasn't it?
Inside your mind.
Your mind.
Your mind.
Your
The
mind.
dagger of the mind.
Mind. No, it's not that one. We've done that one.
Sorry.
Is this a dagger of the mind I see before me?
And basically, Kodos butchered 4,000 people. He was a eugenicist, and supplies were running low on a particular planet, so he decided who was going to live and who was going to die, and the people he decided shouldn't be breeding, shouldn't be surviving.
They're all very Thanos,
Yes.
but way before Thanos, obviously.
And completely unnecessarily, he killed them, including parents in front of their children, whole families. He was a Dawkins-like cunt, basically. And then Kirk sort of remembers the voice, but he's not certain. He's like, he thinks he knows, but he isn't certain. Whereas Tom, Phantom of the Opera man, is like, it is, it definitely is. And Kirk's like, no, the guy's dead. And then Tom's like, but no, they never found the body. And then immediately you're like, oh, well, it's definitely him if they haven't found the body then, isn't it? There can't be, if there isn't a positive identification. So Kirk goes and does the library computer thingy, and Kodos was on Tarsus 4, and the actor Anton Caridian has no ID, no information before 20 years ago. And they compare two photos, and he's fucking obviously the same man. And it's like, why?
Doesn't take a genius to see
No, and
it.
it's like, why are we having all this? When Quinn was complaining, weren't they?
Yeah.
Just how long this was all taking. It's bloody obviously him. It's like, if the photos look different, you could, do you know what I mean?
It would be annoying if it wasn't for the fact that that's not what the story's all about, ultimately.
Yeah.
Is it?
Still very drawn out, unnecessarily so. So then there's a party for all the actors, and Kirk is schmoozing Caridian's daughter.
Yeah, this is good. In the background, by the way, we've got future Mojave from The Cage. The match from that.
I didn't notice that so much as the schmoozing and, I want to see you again.
Oh, and Alexander Courage's Star Trek theme is playing in the background of the party.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's a bit random, but there you go. It's the theme tune. Ooh.
Where's Tom?
He went to town. He called. He's on his way back.
So then you get, I'll meet you outside, and outside is desert and rocks.
Yeah,
But that's where they
sexy.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
You get sand in your bits. This is Lenore, by the way.
Sorry, that's the washing powder, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's exactly what I thought.
Oh, Lenore Comfort, isn't it? What
Yeah.
you put in just a fabric softener. That's it.
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's all a bit Mr. Lover, isn't he, Kirk, at this? Oh, dear. Very cheesy.
So then she says that it won't be long before they're off because they're a travelling company of players and they're waiting for the Astral Queen, which I thought was in Galactica.
Ah!
Or was it Buck? And
No, you were right. This is Reboot BSG, because apparently this is Ronald D. Moore's favourite original series episode.
Oh, so he named the Astral
Queen after the Astral Queen in this, which we don't get to see in this. So I'm just imagining it looking exactly as it did in BSG.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, he gets his mate, the captain of the Astral Queen, on a scrambler phone and says, "You're not picking them up, and you're not saying anything." And the other dude's like, "Well, I owe you a ton of favours." Okay, fair enough. So then they're stranded. So then fabric conditioner comes on board and says,
Wearing what?
Oh, yes, it's a fucking rug with sparkly tights. Yes. And at one point, Yeoman Rand comes out the lift and just looks at her like, what the fuck are you wearing?
Yeah, tragically, this is Rand's last appearance. Aww. Yeah, she didn't even get a line in this, but there we are. No, she just got a look. And, Kirk tries to make it, there's regulations around passengers, but of course I'll take you. And then he sort of seems to be, at least to Spock, seems to be behaving oddly. And there's one bit that I don't fucking understand at all, and I'm hoping you'll be able to explain to me. Harriet?
So he's like, you can come. He's changed their destination. He's picked these people up, fair enough. But what I don't get is once he's identified that it's not just him who can identify Kodos, even though the computer's already done it. But anyway, it's not just him, it's also Riley. He responds by saying, I want to move Riley to engineering. And I thought he was doing that to make him safer. But then Riley's on his own and gets poisoned. So what the fuck was that all about? Help?
I don't exactly know, I must admit. I mean, one can only assume Kirk thought he was protecting Riley, but he did a really crap job of it, didn't he?
No, because it didn't work.
No.
It would have been better, surely there's more people in communications. Or put him in engineering, but with other people in engineering. It's like, I don't understand at all. Because he's like... Unless
the thinking was, put him there, he's less likely to bump into Caridian stroke Kodos.
Oh, okay, he's not going to be seen. But it's still not a good idea to put him on his own, is it, surely?
No. But then at this point, Kirk doesn't know that people are being bumped off necessarily.
Yeah, Spock finds that out. Because Spock's like, he talks to McCoy who's having drinks, which I like. And he's like, you sure there's not something wrong, something going on here? McCoy's like, oh, no, I'm not sure. And I think it's because it's such a heinous thing to accuse somebody of. The idea is you've got to be certain before you do it. But the computer said it anyway. I mean, it's obvious from the pictures.
The computer hasn't said it.
But it's obvious from the pictures. And then Spock's like, do a correlation between, all these people, including Caridian, and then it's like, well...
He Googles it, basically.
Yeah, and it's like, whenever one of them eyewitnesses gets bumped off, the players are nearby. Yeah. It's like...
I mean, it really is... Obviously, it doesn't take Miss Marples to work this one out, does it?
No.
But again, that's, as it turns out, not what the story's about, which I really like. Wrong foots you very nicely.
Yeah. And the thing is about moving Riley is that he, having just moved up from engineering, he's going to see it as being disciplined. And
and Spock makes that point as well.
And he's not told why.
Yeah.
Well, no, he doesn't have to be told why, but can he not be told it's not disciplinary? Can he not at least be told, I can't tell you why, but you haven't done anything wrong? At least be given that reassurance.
Anyway, it's nice to have Riley back.
Yes.
From the naked time.
Yeah.
It's naked time!
Well, it's a nice continuity touch. Although originally the actor Bruce Hyde was hired for this to play a differently named character. And then the production team went, oh, we've had you before, haven't we? Right, you can be that character again then. So it's kind of accidental continuity, but never mind. It is his last appearance, sadly, because he's all right. I mean, he's less comedy Irish in this, at least.
Yes.
But he retired from TV acting after this episode and ended up as head of the drama department at Minnesota University.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So then you've got Kirk showing fabric condition around the ship. And she's like, oh, did you deliberately plan the soft lighting? And then he says, no, we try and duplicate night and day. Now, that makes sense in terms of helping human beings sleep to try and replicate the circadian rhythm. But I don't think we see it again, do we? You don't.
No, and it don't really see it here either, to be honest. The lighting isn't appreciably lower, but there we go. This is our only look at the shuttle observation room, which is, unless you count Star Trek 5, of course, which is a redress of the Romulan bridge from Balance of Terror.
Okay.
Yes. But don't tell Kirk he's a Caesar of the stars. That's just encouraging him.
That's nothing compared to all this power surging and throbbing. Are you like that, Captain? She's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's subtle, isn't it?
No. And then you get this weird speech from her, like, oh, you're all, machines now. Are women just people? What the fuck was all that?
Yeah. Yeah, that hasn't aged well.
Women are people, always were.
Yeah, but no. Apparently in the 60s they were women.
Right.
And Doctor Who was male.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In case any...
Just to timestamp this episode.
Oh, don't. In case...
Let's not dwell on Tory idiots.
But, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rejoice, we live in a Labour constituency now.
Yes! And then you get this unnecessarily long scene that makes you just go padding much, where Riley on his own in engineering
I like this.
asks Uhura for a song
it's
on the harp.
sweet. She feels sorry for him.
We
Although
don't
it was
need
slightly
the
ruined
song.
by Quinn suggesting that, I expect he probably has a quick rank now. It's like,
Excuse me while I beat one off.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder he was too distracted to notice the cleaning spray in the milk.
Yes. But it's interesting, she knows how to play the Vulcan harp. So, yeah. Multi-talented is our Uhura.
Yeah, but it's just not needed, and it's just...
I like it.
No, it's padding. It's blatant padding.
It's not, no. Well, you've got to have the tension build up as
The
the...
tension isn't building.
As the, whatever, the...
I mean, he might be throbbing and building to something else, but the tension isn't
As
building.
the Windoline is sprayed into his milky.
Milky.
Anyway, Riley drinks the poison. Dog. Spock talks McCoy into the pair of them confronting the captain about the danger he's in, particularly now that Riley's either on death's door or on the way out. Although Kirk is resistant at first to acting on the risk, which seems a bit stupid, but there we go. He says he has to be sure that Carradine is Kodos. Interestingly, McCoy refers to Kodos as not the first to conduct an experiment in eugenics, which arguably is our reference to the eugenics war. First one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When we return after an advert, clearly, Spock and Kirk hear a phaser on overload, which apparently could take out an entire deck. So, powerful weapons, these phasers. Kirk orders an evacuation and our only instance of a double red alert. Is that like a double hernia? That's not good news.
It's a shit your pants and run, I think.
Yeah, isn't it? Yes. So where did that phaser go? So they find, as Quinn pointed out, in a really obvious place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly going to cause a red alert, and then it's all illuminated. But never mind.
By the red alert, yeah.
And then they put it in a panel, and it goes bang somewhere in the ship. So some poor soul who's in charge of rubbish removal has got blown up at this point.
Yeah. They were all on strike yet again because they weren't being paid enough by Serco, so Kirk blew them up.
Yes. Kirk challenges Carradine, the first time we've seen him since the teaser, which makes him seem mysterious and dangerous. I quite like this. Captain forces him to do a computerised voice test. Carradine has a go at him for being a representative of the technologised, dehumanised future.
And you're just like, oh, fuck off, you anti-vaxxer cunt. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
He defends Kodos' decision to save half the colonists by executing the others, before admitting rather hammily to being Kodos, basically.
Oh, it's just... But you can't justify executing half... You just... No.
It's not the most subtle of solutions, it has to be said.
And he's like, oh, if the supply ships hadn't been early, then it would have been good. Like, no, killing people's never good. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Just what are you on, you utter dipshit?
Lenore comes in and tears Kirk off a strip for being merciless. Riley is pacing sickbay and overhears McCoy making a log about Kodos. Not like that. McCoy just come across as a bit of an idiot for doing this, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a fucking pen and paper in his hand and he says it.
Yeah, really loudly. And there's no connecting door between him and where Riley is. I mean, it's just like, that's just asking for trouble, isn't it?
Oh, dear, yeah.
It's a good job he wasn't talking about the other patient who's got herpes, isn't it, really? That'll be all around the ship and all.
Well, it will be anyway, won't it?
Well, no, yes, more than one way, yes. That was the Star Trek episode that never made. The whole crew gets herpes.
No, that was Ice Pirates, wasn't it?
Yes. We're back to them again.
Sorry.
The Caridian players put on a production of Hamlet. The stage set is the engineering set, redressed quite dramatically, it has to be said. And Lenore's hair is quite silly for this, with little pigtaily things. It's discovered that Riley is missing, along with a weapon on H-deck, which is weird, as decks normally have numbers. Kirk orders Riley to stand down, stopping him from shooting Kodos. Caridian complains to Lenore about being haunted by a voice from the past, but she stupidly then confesses to killing all the witnesses, bar Kirk and Riley, whom she now plans to off. And then she's surprised when her father flips at the news.
And it's like, you were the one thing that was pure and untouched. And it's just like, yeah, but, you know, A, like father, like daughter. And
Yeah.
B, if you're a eugenicist cunt, you're not going to raise someone to be all loving to everybody, are you?
Well, anyway, I thought it was a nice flip that it suddenly turns out to be his daughter that's doing all the killing. I thought it was really good. And it was nice to see Quinn's surprise as well at that point. So.
Oh, I didn't expect it. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it's still, to me...
And it generally, it's in that day and age rather, it wasn't women that did interesting things like bumping people off. So.
No. I mean, to be fair, historically, women got away with murder more just because nobody suspected them.
Yeah. But, you know, yes, because they couldn't possibly do a thing like that. So, yeah. Anyway, in a nice bit of lighting, they make her eyes reflect a starburst, which makes her look twice as crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
Caridian leaps in front of a phaser beam to save Kirk.
But, like, really slowly and obviously.
Yeah, so it's not well staged.
No.
Leaving his daughter quoting Shakespeare all over his corpse, as you do.
Yeah, that was weird.
McCoy promises she'll receive the best of care, which is nice.
No, it isn't. She's a murderer.
She's clearly not well, so, you know. Lieutenant Leslie finally gets a name. Eddie Paskey having appeared in several episodes before this. And he gets a line as well. Woohoo! So, yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I like the twist. She's a bit OTT at the end, it has to be said. And the McCoy-Spock stuff is great. The scenes between them fretting over Kirk, bless them. I mean, Spock seems really, really, you know, worried about... He doesn't show emotions, but,
he is,
you know, he does. It's really nicely done, that. And he's even annoyed, you know, not annoyed, but worried about the fact that Riley has been given a demotion for no good reason either. It's like, oh, he does care, really. He just hides it.
I also like the interplay between Spock and Kirk, where Kirk's like, no, but I can't be sure, or whatever. And Spock's like, yes, it is. Of course it is. It's just sort of...
How you mad, sir?
Yeah. What I don't like is it's too long. There is clearly padding here. I don't like the song. It's the equivalent of lots of corridors in Doctor Who, and it's too obvious that Caridian is Kodos, and it almost kind of makes Kirk look an idiot.
Everybody look an idiot, really. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you know, Spock's supposed to be held up for working this out, but really, it's not that difficult.
No, and as I said, the thing that does that for me, the thing that makes it not work, is the photo.
Well, it's not just the photo, but also the fact that this actor Caridian didn't exist before Kodos disappeared. It's
Didn't bother faking any records or
no,
anything.
that really is not very good, is it?
No, so that bit is too obvious because there isn't. It's played in terms of the characters. It's played as though there is doubt, but in terms of the plot, there isn't any.
And
for me,
all
that
respect
doesn't work.
to Kirk for doubting and for he has to be sure. That's fine, but the evidence is so overwhelming.
Exactly, that's the problem. For me, that's the problem with the episode. So I really like McCoy in this and Spock.
That scene where he's boozing and he wants to get Spock
that.
boozing
He's
as
like,
well.
if you're not going to join me, don't judge me.
Yeah, don't judge me, judgy.
You know, so I love that aspect of it. Don't like Uhura's singing, just being honest.
Oh, I quite like it.
Okay, fine, but I don't.
I mean, it could be improved with a fan dance, obviously, but you know, other than that, it's good.
And I like the idea that the twist that it's the daughter. So there's good things in this. It's just that the way that this is written compared to the way that this is acted, if you see what I mean, the plot versus the characterization doesn't quite match up.
Ah, what a shame. Well, I loved it anyway. Shall we find out what other people thought?
Yeah. And we've heard from Boss, who writes, firstly, boo, Paramount. But yay that we get back to TOS. Hopefully we can get through the rest of the first season before something new comes along. Well, we might not get any of the new shit anymore. Sorry, that was a bit depressing, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
And he writes, this was another episode that reminded me of something else, but in this case I think I remember what it was. It's a Babylon 5 episode where a war criminal turns up masquerading as someone else, and eventually they get killed after being let go by the station commander. Can't remember its name.
Oh, that's the first season one, isn't it? Oh, it's the one where Delen's just yelling the name out. Shackles! That's it, that's the one.
Death Walker!
Yes.
Is it Soul Hunter the episode?
No.
No, it's something else.
It's something else.
That's going to bug us now. You do realise, boss, we're going to be awake until 3 o'clock in the
I think it
fucking
might
morning.
be called Death Walker, actually.
Oh, okay. That will be all right then. You're okay. And boss continues, I thought this was a reasonable episode with a decent twist. One thing I liked was there was plenty to do for the 3 main cast members as they independently investigated the same mystery. Scotty and Sulu are still AWOL though. How many episodes is it since we've seen them?
It does feel like a long while, yes.
Yeah. I did wonder why Kirk didn't just confide in Spock instead of keeping it a secret, especially as he would have known he was a target. I don't know.
No, yeah, that's a bit dickish, isn't it, really?
Yeah. I was surprised to see Mr. Riley back, but even more surprised he didn't die, considering the life expectancy the helmsman have had so far in this series, and that he'd already survived the naked time. I was less surprised to see more Kirk love scenes, although at least there was a different dynamic this time.
Yeah, now that's what really drags this down, and this is, full on Kirk as Mr. Lover. This is probably I said the first instance, actually, it was in Miri, wasn't it? And that was even less pleasant.
Yeah. You know, at least the dynamic was different as it became clear that Lenore was playing him.
Well, it doesn't make it any better on his side.
No. I did also enjoy the scene when McCoy tried to tempt Spock into drinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. That was a good scene. What was McCoy drinking? It was brown.
Saurian brandy, I think,
Oh,
but
okay.
it wasn't named as such yet. But I think it gets named that later on in the series. Cheers, boss man.
Thank you.
We've heard from the Llama God. Ah, yes. Okay, so we have 2 feedbacks here, apparently.
2?
Yes. If he doesn't explain, I will afterwards. Yes, so that was the feedback for the worldwide listeners. And the second is only for those in the UK. You can see what he's getting at there, can't you?
Lumbergazlag, Scott Date, Fixie-Earn, Unye, Fixie-Earn, Hot Potato Orchestra, Stalls, Puckter, Make Amends. Okay then, hello to all my UK listeners only. I hope that no one outside the UK is listening to this, of course, because, it's not like communicating and sharing ideas across borders, boundaries, and indeed space, isn't it, in the spirit of Star Trek at all, or anything, is it? Is it? Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that, I think, especially given how eloquently Anne-Marie put my feelings last podcast. So, yes, so on to this episode then. Now, there's a lot of Star Trek around at the moment, isn't there? Well, there could be if there weren't a bunch of cunts, but there is a lot of Star Trek around, and I imagine if I was allowed to watch it, there's a lot of different styles around as well. And this, I imagine, is a very different beast, and that's a really good thing, because could we have Star Trek Overload? Would I really want to be watching TOS, given that there are if there were other types of Star Trek available on the basis of this episode? Yes, and I've got to say, I actually quite enjoyed this. I don't know if it's because I'm coming off the back of just having rewatched Star Trek 2 last week, but this is very much a dramatic stage play type episode, but yeah, it works really well, especially considering the episode features a whole wandering troupe of actors who perform Shakespeare. The episode that's written around that works pretty well, actually, yeah. And indeed, the whole episode has a very Shakespearean feel to it, which manages to stay, in my opinion anyway, just the right side of overwrought and over the top. The scene where Kirk confronts Caridian in his quarters, try saying that several times, and then Lenore enters as well, that's very much a stage play of one person coming in and handing over their lines, and it is possibly overly melodramatic, but at the same time, it just works very well. And I don't know if this is because it's trading on Shatner's training in stage productions of Shakespeare, I think that's where he came from anyway, but it's delivered at just the right levels, and yeah, the resolution of the episode wherein Lenore accidentally kills her father, which is itself a very Shakespearean twist, isn't it? I'm not sure which of the plays. I'm not very well cultured, actually. I don't know Shakespeare apart from what I learned of it from Star Trek. I'm sorry. But that is very, very much melodramatic and in fitting with that sort of play. And again, it's ever so slightly hammy, but for me, it worked. I also liked how we got to see a glimpse of colony life on the frontier and just how dangerous it is, with dangers being both from without and, of course, from within. What's new there? We find out that obviously this is in a pre-replicated time. I mean, that's the whole opening of the episode, shows that there's a type of food that's been developed that can feed thousands, but yeah, so they don't have replicators. That definitely predates this. And unfortunately, the governor of the colony happened to be Thanos. Yes, Thanos comes early. Yes, he killed 50% of the population so that the resources could be distributed equally and no one would suffer. Although, unlike Thanos, this guy really had no other choice. Thanos could have just happily used the Infinity Stones to create more resources, maybe, if it was resources starved. Yeah, wouldn't that have made some sense, big guy? Whereas, in Kodos' case, he had no ability to create extra resources, so he did what he thought was best. Not necessarily the route I'd have chosen, but his solution here seems to have been slightly less dubious than Thanos' is. Although, as I say, I'm not in any way condoning it at all. There's a lot of other nice touches in the episode as well. well. I really like the scene in the mess hall where Uhura gets to sing to Riley over the ship's comms just to keep him company, and that was a really nice scene, just showed a bit of camaraderie and connection between the crew, and it wasn't really at all undermined by the fact that someone tried to then poison him with some bathroom cleaner. Bang! And the eyewitness is gone. It was just nice to see the crew interacting, beyond Kirk, Spock and Bones, and to see that they are actually a kind of, a unit. Speaking of Spock and Bones, again, they did a great double act in this episode, with Spock being, quite rightly, dubious of his captain's motives, and McCoy slowly being won round, despite the fact that all he wanted to do was have a drink. Yeah, I can relate to that quite well. But yeah, their little double act was wonderful. I loved seeing all of that. A couple of interesting notes in there. Is this the first time we've seen a Phase 1 overload? And we get double red alert. It's not just alert, it's double red alert. Sorry, Captain, that means we have to double up the number of light bulbs. There are a couple of dubious logical steps in this. One of them being, of course, when Kirk goes to confront Karidian, he gives him a line of dialogue to read, a line of dialogue that no one could possibly mimic, except that he gives it to an actor. Yeah, well done there. Someone whose job is to mimic and change their voices for a living. Yeah, well done. Good job there. And with regards to that overloading phaser, Kirk throws it in the trash, which you'd think, okay, that's going to jettison it out into space, but it's on the inner curve of the corridor, which suggests that it's going to go into the centre of the ship, so maybe not the best idea. Maybe there's just a very extreme U-bend there that they've got there, so it did actually go into space. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't be thinking too much of those things. And if I had to pick anything of a downside, it's, again, as ever, and I think this is probably going to get ongoing throughout the series now, is that the continuity wasn't so great. You cut between different shots of the actors, and they are looking in different directions at various times, so yeah, continuity not great. Small thing, really. But yeah, as I say, it was overblown, melodramatic, but it also seemed to just work, even if Kirk was a little bit sleazy. So yeah, on the whole, I really enjoyed this episode. So, as ever, I'll be looking forward to finding out what everyone else made of these. I hope that everybody has, by this point, managed to work off their anger at Paramount and CBS for making a stupid fucking decision. And until next time, glory to you and your cast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I agree. The acting in this overall, it's not OTT. The difficulty is them looking stupid because the computer knows stuff. It's not anybody overacting and hamming things up, really.
And any hamminess there is kind of justified because they're actors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and one of them is clearly crazy bonkers as well. So,
Yeah.
It's kind of, I can kind of live with that.
Yeah.
About the only thing I say that makes me go, yeah, is Kirk's
Yeah.
sliminess. But there we are. That's nothing new.
And the idea that it was just camaraderie between Uhura and Riley was, I'm afraid, for us, rather ruined by Quinn. I'm just going to beat one out. Sing for me, I'm all alone. I want to have a wank. I can't see that scene in any other way now.
Yes, we were going to see Scotty walk in and walk straight back out again.
That's why he was on his own. They knew he was having some alone time.
Yes.
You do get that scene, don't you? With because yes, he's given it to somebody who's an actor, and I said, "Why did he just do a funny accent?" And they put in the sort of deal with that.
You can't disguise your voice. Okay.
Disguise your voice won't work. Well, why wouldn't it? There's no explanation as to you're right. It's like surely it would. He's an actor.
I don't know.
I don't
Apparently,
think it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Computers is the future.
Because magic.
Yeah.
Space magic.
Space magic.
Space magic. Did you spot the continuity of people looking in different directions? 'Cause
I didn't. No, there you go.
Okay. What did Drew and Tracy make of this?
So we just watched TOS, The Conscience of the King.
Yes.
And what do we think of that one then?
Great stuff.
That was quite engrossing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. It's good. I like it. It's a classic episode. There's no space battles in it. There's very little action in it. You got like the bit at the end, and you got, I guess, there's a death in it, and Riley's poisoning. But apart from that, it's just chat.
All right, skip through a whole of it. We
Well,
don't
I'm
have
just
to do any
saying.
feedback. All right, well, let's go through some points in time. So, the way that they kind of introduced
Kodos, yes.
and you don't really know that it was him until the end.
Yep.
But, so you had Tom,
Yes.
who only did the side view
I know.
for quite a long time, and I said to you, there's something wrong with his mincer.
When you know what's coming in this, it's just really cheesy. But even you didn't know what's coming.
I said there's something wrong with his mincer, isn't there?
Yeah.
But when they actually did, and they kept him side view for such a long time.
It just looks so fake.
Yeah, but to build up the suspense,
Yeah.
and then when he turns round, I said to you, fuck me, it's not just his mincer, it's half his head.
Yeah, exactly,
What did he do?
He's very cheesy. Yeah, they just never show his face till that bit.
So I do like the name Kodos the Executioner.
Yeah, it's good.
That's great, but you don't know if it's him or not.
No, you don't. No,
end,
not
so...
until the end. Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of turn and throwing. So we have to talk about Kirk and Lenore.
Yes, I know. Now, I think this is the first episode that you've seen the full-on, like, charmed up, smoothie Kirk. Isn't it? He's full-on going for it, isn't he?
You can't deny it. He has got the charm.
Yeah. And this is like where the Kirk reputation comes from, isn't it?
He is a bit of a smoothie.
Yeah.
But all the patter with her at the beginning, like when she first walks into the party where they're doing the jazzed up version of the TOS theme tune, that was quite funky. And then when he's like, she's only flipping there for 5 minutes, and he's like, oh, I'd like to get to know you more. Yeah. And she's like, okay, see you outside.
Yep.
Come on, love.
The overloading phaser that they're going to kill Kirk with.
Yeah.
It's not very efficient, is it? Because it's just like, what's that noise? And it gets louder and louder and louder. I just refuse to believe that anyone would be caught out by that. Because at some point you'd hear it and you'd be like, oh, there's a phaser. And I'll just, not once you find it, obviously.
But my question is, so phasers, you can't do anything with them remotely, so someone had to put that phaser onto full charge.
So some kind of like timing thing, I guess.
Really? I don't. Well, that's never been an issue or a question before. And then they put it in a locker in his bedroom.
No, hold on. It's not a locker though, is it?
It's not a locker. It's an air vent.
No.
It's not even an air vent.
It was the red alert indicator thing, which. So they're just a white light with like red coloured glass over them. What? So are they all like that?
But my point is, to set that on the highest frequency, someone must have like put it in there on high frequency.
I think we're probably looking a bit too much into it.
But it's not like someone can kind of set it and then go, Alexa, set an alarm for like 20 minutes or whatever. Poor Riley.
Yes.
On his own, feeling like the world's caving in on him. Just wants a love song, so he ends up having Uhura warbling at him, and then fuck me, someone squirts Windoline in his milkshake.
I know. I always remember watching this at Pages, and whenever they'd play this, that point, everyone would just like kill themselves laughing because it literally is, isn't it? Windoline in the milk.
It is Windoline in the milkshake. Yep. Come on.
Lenore is a ham, isn't she? She's a
ham.
Right ham. Like she's saying anything happens, and she's like, "Oh, the pen." She's just such a hammy actor. I think the character is the hammy actor.
But at the end, she's obviously trying to save her daddy.
Yep.
And then ends up.
I know, it's a good twist.
Shooting him with a phaser.
At the end. Like, oh no, you think it's going to be, Kodos, and it was his daughter.
Well, yeah.
Bit of Jonathan Creek twist. I've got to say, Discovery book Drastic Measures is all about Kodos Executioner, and having watched it, it really makes this episode a lot better. I know this is going to not appeal to anyone else unless you've read the book. I'm just putting that point in there.
You didn't feel like to say that to me before we watched it?
No.
I liked it.
I really like it, as I say, because of the book helps, but yeah, this is a great episode.
Kirk's this movie.
Good stuff.
Take it easy, guys. See you later. Bye.
Does that make it sound like Drew's never sharing his books with Tracy? No, you can't touch it. You might appreciate this story more. You're not allowed anywhere near it. So mean. Yeah, there was a very slow build up built into that phaser, wasn't it? Because they must have put that in there ages ago. Wow, I'd thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Because it gives them plenty of time to find it, which is rather counterproductive.
Slightly. I think there are better ways of killing Kirk.
Yes. I mean, she could have put poison on her lips and then he would have kissed her and then, oh no, poison.
Oh no, yes, exactly. Well, I mean, let's face it, she wouldn't have struggled to get him alone somewhere, would she? So,
Arsenic in a condom?
Not sure if that would just kill her, wouldn't it? Anyway, I really don't want to know.
I was thinking of the inside rather than the outside.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. Okay. Do they have them in the future? Let's just not dwell on this and find out what Purry thought of this episode.
Hello, Orgs. Purry here to talk about Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 1, Kobayashi... Wait, is it what? Oh, for God's sake. No, so I won't be able to watch it at all. Right, okay. Start again. Hello, Orgs. Parry here to talk about The Conscience of the King. Yes, even though we have no Discovery, we still have all the other Trek, because we definitely have no Discovery. I'd just like to say to anyone listening, I've definitely not been watching Discovery. Right, that's out of the way. Now, this episode's kind of, to me it was a bit odd. I start with this is an odd one so often, but this one does fit. It's considered quite highly amongst TOS episodes. It's not the god tier of like Balance of Terror, City on Edge of Forever, but it is considered a generally solid episode, and there's a lot to like in it. I actually genuinely like the way both Kirk and Spock and McCoy kind of work out Kodos's identity. I like the idea of Kirk kind of dealing with this, I mean, would you say demon of his past? But the sort of... to an extent, there's a contemplation on what do you do with them when you catch them. You know, is Kirk out for revenge? Is he out for justice? They do a bit of that sort of thing. The guy playing Kodos is actually quite compelling. I thought he suited the role of an old thesp, but he also had kind of the tire and paint. And he put, I mean, maybe it's a bit stagey, but kind of fits the titling. But yes, he puts quite a lot into it. And I think at the end, the kind of way the thing panned out, aside from possibly the kind of Orko ending, I thought the ending was kind of had a sense of tragedy about it, which I think really fitted. And there is, I mean, the whole thing of the Tarsus 4 massacre is an interesting thing. It's the sort of thing that gets mentioned a lot in tie-in fiction. I don't know if any of them have actually addressed it specifically, because there are lots of interesting things. You know, they say 4,000 colonists executed, and because of their usefulness, i.e. blimmin' eugenics. So, you know, and that it's a good way to make you not too sympathetic with Kodos, for all that when you are feeling for him, you know, the idea of when, you know, he's kind of found out and he's upset that his daughter turned out to be a bit crazy, you were feeling sorry for him, but it is always in the background that, yeah, he did massacre a whole lot of people based roughly on their usefulness to the colony. And indeed, there's a whole load you can go into in that. I've got a horrible feeling there's lots of politicians here who would look forward to being able to do that, because that's the sort of tough decision that idiots think that they want to take. What was interesting was, how come only like 6 people knew what he looked like? What happened? Because again, you don't massacre 4,000 people without help. Like, one person can't do that. So I think a part of me was thinking there were more interesting places they could have taken this. You could have had someone who was at the camp but maybe helped with the executions or that sort of thing. I think they could have maybe gone a bit more. As it was, we got to see Riley again, which was nice. Although when you were saying, you know, oh, have you done something bad, Riley? Why are you stuck in all the rubbish shifts? And it's like, because you took over the ship, shut down the engines, and sang a horrible Irish ballad over the intercom for hours. That's why Kirk's giving you all the bum assignments. We did get a wee musical number though, and it's nice to see Uhura learning to play the Vulcan harp. I thought that was quite neat, and just again gives the crew a feeling of something to do. And again, this thing's real strength was particularly the tension between first Spock and McCoy, and it was Spock and McCoy working out what Kirk was doing. Kirk initially working out, and then Spock and McCoy. Where it kind of falls down is the romance. So Kirk romances Kodos's daughter, or Corellian? I can't remember, but romances his daughter, with the hope of getting close to him. Except, doesn't it say in the memory tapes that she's 19? So that's got a... Isn't Kirk meant to be like 31? Now, I don't judge anyone, obviously your relationships are yours, but a 31-year-old chatting up a 19-year-old does hit an automatic yikes alarm in my head. It's also some of the romantic dialogue is pigging awful. This ship, it's powerful, it's throbbing, are you like that? Jesus, that was terrible romantic dialogue, and I think that's really where it falls. I didn't get enough of were they falling for each other, was Kirk manipulating. I didn't get enough of that, or enough of the mystery in it. You kind of filled in the gap yourselves, and I've got to kind of blame that one on Shatner to an extent. I just don't think he portrayed it well. So yeah, overall solid episode with some pretty major flaws and some slightly yikesy bits. So all it remains for me to say is do keep up the good work. I always look forward to the podcast, and I will feed back on the next one. But until then, bye for now.
Bye, sir. And that's why we leave him to last. That was the perfect sum up of the episode, wasn't it? Generally good, but with some really yikesy bits.
Yes. 31 and 19.
Oh boy, I'm just looking up to see if that's the age she was. If so, that is.
She was 19 because she was.
a bit older than that.
She was played by somebody definitely older, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there was a tradition of that at the time. Yes, she was 19. Now, the thing is, the culture is different in the US compared to the UK. So in the UK, 19 is definitely an adult because you become an adult at 18. So provided there wasn't a prior relationship and provided there isn't a power differential, there's nothing wrong with that in this country. In the US, you're considered a minor in certain contexts until you're 21. So in the US, because she's under 21, that's icky. And that's a culture difference between the UK and the US. You would worry about that age differential if the relationship, in the UK this is, if the relationship started younger. But from the point of view of this country, it has started when she's an adult. And there isn't a power differential there in that she's not a member of his crew. If she were, that would be icky. So it doesn't bother me in the same way as it might bother someone in the US on the basis that she's under 21. The relationships that bother me with the age difference are ones that start when one of them is younger.
And yes, the ending is a bit Orko. I didn't really mention that, but I mean it's all right. At least it's not a pun anyway. But it's a bit of a non-ending, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I kind of feel like they felt that they had to do it like it's become a trope, a thing. It may well have even been a studio thing or a network thing. Do you know what I mean? You have to put this thing in there, so they sort of found one. It felt tacked on, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, good news anyway for you there, Perry, because I know you've not been watching Discovery, but now you can on Uranus or some such.
Yeah.
Yes. Next time, recording the 9th of December, we should be covering not one of my favourite episodes, it has to be said, the Galileo 7, which isn't a pop group.
Oh, sounds it?
Yeah.
Actually, no, it sounds like dancers, like Pan's People.
Yeah, but features some spurk in charge of a shuttlecraft. I mean, I think it's Kirk Light at least, so we got that going for it. But
was the Galileo 7 like the Birmingham 6 or something?
No, this is nobody's getting blown up. It's a shuttlecraft that's called the Galileo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are there 7 of them?
I think there might be 7 people on board.
Okay. Better than Blake 7 that didn't actually have 7 people.
7 people, yes, exactly, yes. And the part of Aurak will be played by... Anyway, we shall see how that one pans out. But until then, take care, folks. Cheery bye.
Bye.
The opening music for this podcast was provided by the talented Drew Barker.
The artwork was created by Andy Palastides.
All music referenced is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
And we have a YouTube channel as well.
You can find the Borgcast playouts on Spotify for your listening pleasure.
Visit our Tumblr site at borgcast.tumblr.com, where you'll find images accompanying the episodes discussed in this cast.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Or you can contact us via Twitter on rev_org or borgcastammo. #Borgcast.
Shut it down!
It's naked time!